Betsy, and today we have a fun video. We are going to be testing out, finally, the Natasha Denona Mini Xenon palette. Now, Natasha has two different sizes of these 5-pan palettes. The mini ones that are like this, these retail for $25. She has a slightly bigger size that also retails for $50. But I was super excited when I saw this palette come out. Not because of the color story is anything revolutionary. A black silver color scheme really isn't anything new. But I was excited for this because this matte black shadow that's right here, that is the blackest black matte eyeshadow. Now to buy a single pan of that eyeshadow from Natasha's website is $29. So it costs more than the whole little palette. So it's a good way to try it to see if it's a shade that you love and you need. So this is what she looks like. And we're gonna start off by swatching. Now, I have no idea if this is the same formula or not of the blackest black, but we're gonna kind of go from there. So the first shade is the blackest black. Well, that came off patchy, didn't it? Should we call that the patchiest black? Even like going over and swatching it again. It looks good on my finger. Not so much there. We'll see what it looks like on the eyes though, because sometimes that happens. Next up we have the shade Gloom, which is a dark charcoal. Now that's swatched better. Then the only metallic shade we have in here is this beautiful silver, which is called Chromatic. That's really pretty. I do like the silver so far. And I mean, the gray swatched okay. Sometimes, you know, and that's the thing about it is swatches never tell you the whole story, so don't rely on just swatches alone. Then we have this other gray, which is Mist. I feel like I'm in the paint section at Lowe's with these names. And then last but not least is the matte cream shade, which is called Gloom. So the cream swatched much better than the black. It's okay. So I have already taken and primed my eyes with the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot, but we are going to play today because, you know, why not? I love eyeshadow and this makes me happy. But yeah, I ordered this on release. I think it was it August the 12th that it released? No, I think it was July the 12th. Maybe it was a little bit ago. I can't even remember. Are y'all like that? Like some days where it's like, oh, this is what happened. Wait, am I sure that's what happened today? Yeah, that's where I'm at. There's too much going on and trying to keep up with everything is driving me insane. I'm gonna grab this as a ColourPop E15 and we're gonna go into the matte cream shade, which is called Puff. And we're gonna use that all over to set down that eyeshadow primer. I always tend to go for, unless I'm doing like a very neutral look or I don't have eyeshadow primer with me, I always use a eyeshadow primer that is lighter than my skin tone. It really helps my eyeshadow pop on my skin. And typically if there's a matte cream shade, I will use it to set down eyeshadow primer. Sometimes I'll also use it to blend out other colors. A matte cream shade isn't a must, but it's not the worst thing to have in a palette, especially if you do have a lot of deeper colorful shades, because you can kind of like mix and match and use it with to lighten anything, to kind of give yourself that gradient, if that makes sense. So now I'm gonna grab, this is a BK Beauty 202, which these little, it's a little bit pointier, are great for doing eye looks. This is one of my favorite brushes. I actually own like 4 of the same one because I love it so. Now I'm going into Mist and we're going to apply that all in the crease area. Okay. See, okay. Now, one thing I will go ahead and tell you is there's not a whole lot of difference other than Mist kind of pulls a little bit cooler. Like I don't know if you needed both Puff and Mist. I think I would have preferred there to be one more shimmer shade in this and kept it like a light gray, a mid-tone gray, and then the black, and then did another shimmer. And what would have been fun with it, because it's the Xenon palette, is really do like just throw in one pop of color. That's what I would have done. But you know, I don't own a makeup brand. What do I know? Other than, you know, what I like. But to me, like something like this does, I say like a lot, sorry, but something like this could stand to go for something that has a little bit of a pop. But doesn't this color scheme, this is like a screaming late 90s, early 2000s kind of eyeshadow look. Other than it actually being blended with a brush and not with one of those sponge applicators or my fingers. I'm gonna use the same brush and I'm gonna go into Gloom, which is that dark gray. And we're going to apply that in the crease, but keeping it low. There we go. Just in that outer edge. That's a pretty color. Like, you see what I'm saying? I don't know if you could tell in the swatch of Gloom, it did look a little patchy, but once it's on the eyeball, it doesn't. So that is what I look for shadow. Like, I don't mind if it doesn't look perfect in swatches, because how it acts on the eye is always more important to me. But yeah, let's blend that out. Blendy, blendy, blendy. So have y'all watched, while I'm blending, have y'all watched Marvel's What If? I am loving the first 2 episodes that I've seen so far. It has been so good. But that's something we watch together as a family, you know, because that's what you do. Anyways, kind of go back over. But you see what I'm saying? Like, that is blending out pretty well. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and put on my lid shade. And I think I'm going to try to use the Blackest Black as an eyeliner. I have no idea if it's going to work, but I kind of want to do a little bit of a wing. But I'm going to do it with shadow. So that way, because I have terrible eyesight and shaky hands, I can't do a wing to save my life. I mean, let's face it. This is the NYX Too Faced Glitter, or NYX Too Faced. It is the NYX Glitter Glue, and it is a great glitter glue. Inexpensive. I always use some type of glitter glue with my eyeshadow, unless for some reason I don't, like if I'm traveling and forget to grab a glitter glue, because it helps keep the eyeshadows in place. 2, it does help with longevity. It helps, like, especially if it's a more wet formula, it does kind of help keep them from creasing. So we're going into that silver shade, which is called Chromatic. And we're just gonna pat that all over where I put the glitter glue. If I can talk. Oh, but yeah, let's go ahead and pat that out. Now, see, this is a better shimmer than what was in the Zendo palette, the Midi Zendo. These have a little bit more sparkle, or this one has a little bit more sparkle to them. And I prefer, like, give me a better, like, shimmer than you do a matte. I will love you forever. I can make mattes work. You know what I'm saying? I want the most unique and best shimmer formulas I can get. Okay, so that is on. Now I'm gonna grab my 202 and I'm gonna go back into Gloom, and I'm going to apply that over the outside of my eye, outer edge of my eye, because you gotta have some depth. And then I'm going to grab, this is just a teeny tiny little LB3 from Lunar Beauty, and I'm gonna go into the lighter shade of gray called Mist. and gonna go over the edges. This is something I always do to make sure my edges look clean. And part of doing this also, besides making sure your edges look clean, it does kind of give you that faux half cut crease look without actually doing a cut crease, because cut creases look great, but they're not always the easiest thing to do. I mean, they're not the worst, but you know, I want ease, I want simple at this point in my life. So now I'm just going back into Gloom, making sure everything looks the way that I want it to. I love that deeper gray. I really do love that shade. I don't know if that matches like the color pop or not. I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna grab, this is an angled brush from Cleona. It doesn't say a number or anything like that on it. Now I'm taking that blackest black and I'm just tracing out my lash line and making like a shadow wing. I do try to walk y'all through a tutorial-ish, but I am not a makeup artist. I've thought about going and like doing some makeup courses because I do love makeup so much. Not to sit there and do it on other people. I mean, I have done makeup for like Nadia and her friends for like prom, but yeah. I don't know if I love this black. But I have kind of heard that what is in this palette, I was told by a friend of mine, I don't know, I really haven't watched a lot of reviews on it. I mean, I've had videos going, but I don't know if someone has it and has talked about if it's the same or not. Because we're in back to school season. I try to watch videos. I mean, I really do. And I want to watch more. And even if I get to watch them, it's like, oh, did I comment? I don't even know if I commented like on my friend's videos or whatever. But, and see, I am bringing that in. And one of the things like when doing this, whenever you wear false eyelashes, having that black does kind of help hide the band. I just don't think that this is the blackest black eyeshadow, I guess is the best way to say it. At least what's in this pan. Like, and it may have more trouble because like going over the shimmer, but out here it's nothing but matte. And it's still not full opacity black. So I'm kind of a little disappointed in that. Okay, so there we go with the top of the eyes done. We're gonna go off camera, or I'm going to go off camera, do the rest of my face. I will come back and do the lower lash line, and then we'll talk about my thoughts on this palette. So I'm back and I have the rest of my face on. I used the Natasha Denona Foundation X Full Coverage Foundation in the shade 45N. I've used this a few times. I really like this. Whenever I ordered this palette, I got it half off, and I have really been enjoying that. I mean, look how good that shade matches. And then for bronzer, I used the bronzer in the Natasha Denona Tan palette. I don't know if you can see how much has actually been used out of here. Like, there's a huge dip in that. I love that bronzer shade. And then for blush, I mixed from the Bloom palette, the blush and the glow shade together. And then I used the Glow Extreme highlighter. Then in my waterline, I used ColourPop's Loverboy, and then on my lips, I used from the I Need a Nude collection, the Omarosa lipstick. So that's what's on my face. all over my face to face. Okay, so now I need the Cleona brush that I was using. That is the angled brush. But yeah, I mean, I actually, the more that this is kind of sat here and I've looked at it, it is actually better than I thought it was. I don't know, do y'all do that? It's like, before I put on the rest of my makeup, that's why I always hate to like rush to any judgment when it comes to makeup, because it's like, well, I don't know exactly if I'm going to love it or not until I actually get it like all over my face to face, you know? You gotta have some time. But I'm just kind of, you see how I'm stamping this in here? I'm trying to make sure I don't go into that Loverboy shade, because I did want that pop of color, because actually I really like this. Like, I don't know. What do y'all think? I mean, you tell me what you think down below of this, because I like it better now than what I thought I was going to. I'm gonna take, this is a Sigma E27, it's a little blending brush, and I'm gonna go into the shade Mist, which is that lightest gray, and I'm just using that to blend out the blackest black. There we go. And doing it like this, actually, I do like it a whole lot more, again, than what I thought I was going to. I mean, not more than what I thought I was going to. It's before I had on the rest of my face, it was like, I don't know if I like this or not, but once everything else is on, it's like, this is really pretty. And look how cool that looks with that straight up very neutral gray silver eye with that hot pink waterline. Doesn't that just kind of give you something extra? I'm gonna take, this is a ColourPop E10, I'm gonna go into that shade Puff, and I'm going to use that as the inner corner highlight. And you can see, even using that matte shade, I wish we had something that was a little bit more punchier, but it still looks good. And I think that it would have been better too if she would have done like a true white instead of that off-white. I was telling Naughty this earlier. I'm never the biggest fan of off-white. Like, to me, it always looks a little dingy. It's like, either go bright white or go tan. Not in between. But this is the completed look. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. Now, Natasha does do sales on her website all the time, and Sephora does them, and the Sephora does carry Natasha Denona, so does Beautylish. So if you are interested in picking this up, I would wait for a sale. But I mean, all in all, if you're looking for a good black silver combination, I think that this is a beautiful look. But yeah, I like it. Do you need it? Probably not, but I do think it's pretty. But I guess that's it for today's video. We will see y'all later.